Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
And I hope the mic does sound right. Seems like there's a lot to talk about with XRP. I'm getting all types of things in my news feed. I'm going to share this one here too, because it says XRP price stalls as Ripple inks a deal with a $350 billion asset manager. And that asset manager is Guggenheim Partners. It's been a subject of one of my videos before. I'll find the card for that one too, just because they mentioned them again, and they're not mentioned often, but it'll give you a little bit more deeper background on who Guggenheim is. But it says XRP price wavered on Tuesday, even after Ripple Labs inked a major deal with Guggenheim Partners. And I haven't seen a whole lot of coverage on this. It's an article by Crispus Nyaga from yesterday, but that's newsworthy, folks. It says the price action came despite the launch of digital commerce paper, a fixed income asset secured by U.S. Treasuries on the XRP ledger. So more information that's kind of like sprinkled in there, which has already processed over $280 million administered by Guggenheim Partners, a fund manager with $349 billion in assets under management. It goes on to read that the digital commercial paper aims to leverage the XRP ledger's faster settlement and lower transaction costs to modernize how commercial paper is issued, transactioned, and integrated into global treasury systems. In a statement, Marcus Infinger, senior vice president at RippleX, said, institutions are no longer asking if blockchain technology can support regulated financial products. They're asking how they can deploy them at scale. Let me say that again. Institutions are asking how they can deploy them at scale. At scale. And in an effort to go upscale myself, I'm going to pause here and ask that you please subscribe, please like, and please comment, and please watch the video to the end. I am doing my best to try to increase my viewership to finally be able to make the YouTube videos that I do that I think are very helpful for those who actually watch them. So I finally maybe make it lucrative for me in the sense of getting at least some type of return on doing it. So if you stop by, thanks for stopping by. Now, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The inception of DCP is a prime example of this shift and expands the offering of institutional financial assets coming to the XRP ledger. The XRP ledger is expected to continue growing in the coming months, which could help support XRP's price as transaction fees on the network are burned. That's the appreciating asset part of XRP, because when they use it, some of it burns. So that means the supply slowly but surely heads down. When the supply heads down and the demand heads up, nothing can happen but an increase in price. And I believe soon they're going to have to stop fiddling around with the XRP price, and they're going to have to jack it up because it's too integral to the new monetary system. Of course, stable coins are coming on too. But I've heard Garlinghouse say their business revolves around XRP. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to get replaced by stable coins. It says one key catalyst for the ledger is the recent Hidden Roach, acquisition. Got a video on that. Ripple has announced that it will shift its $10 billion in daily transactions to the XRP ledger this year. Probably already done. And the other catalyst for the ledger is the Ripple USD, like I mentioned, RLUSD stablecoin, which has attracted over 388 million in assets a few months after its launch. And then we get a little bit of a price analysis, and of course that can go any way with who's doing the analyzation. And there's other factors like fundamentals and narratives and news and everything that could change everything that everybody says anyway. But this daily chart showed that XRP peaked at 340 on January 16th before pulling back to its current level of 226. We might as well say 227. Well, the token has also formed a descending triangle pattern, a common bearish continuation signal. It is consolidating at the 50-day and 100-day exponential moving averages. As long as XRP remains below the descending trend line, the bearish outlook will hold. The first support target is the lower boundary of the triangle, followed by the neutral level at $1. Okay, that's enough for that article. We're going to take a look here at XRP because I believe XRP has already broken out of that. So let's go check that out. And so you can see here on my rudimentary trend line right here that there was a breakout of this downward trend that they're mentioning. And from what I can see, it occurred 3 days ago on the 8th of June, June 8th, it occurred. And XRP price is currently sitting at 229. It's gone up as high as 232. So a breakout does appear to be occurring. And when we add and consider all the other factors, of course, they had this line here, which going by the date that it sort of begins its touch point, we're looking at, let me see here. It's probably about 6 months. I got this thing in the way. Hide. Let me see if I can hide that. Okay, yeah. It's probably about yeah, from January. And then we have the 100-day moving average, which is this one on top, the lighter color. The green one is the 50 that they mentioned. And those two have come pretty close to converging, and right now the price is stuck between the two. But I did some analysis before on some of this, and I don't have it available. And I had some vertical lines working from this breakout to a support line, and it ran, I think, from the 11th to the 15th. And so, what did it mean? It means sometime between the 11th and the 15th, I kind of expected XRP to take a route where it's going to, kind of like come down maybe to test the breakout and then take off. And so that's really what I anticipate is going to happen in the next less than a week or so. That it may test backwards a little bit. It may just take off from here. But after it tests backwards, there was a vertical line that I had that I put on there. Excuse me, not vertical. Yeah, there were two vertical lines, but I'm looking now for the horizontal line. And what I had was a horizontal line on the bottom, and I was finding levels of support, and it was around 205 or 206 or somewhere in that range. And you can see if I put it here. And so if we look at this blue line, no matter how far down it back tests, it'll back test about 205, 206, and then from there take off. I don't think it will dip below this support line. So what's the point? Well, the article says that it's stalled, but there are other things going on with XRP that are conducive to some more, aside from everything we just read, some more price progress, we'll call it. And I'm talking about something like this. XRP news today. XRP gets listed on Nasdaq Crypto Index, marking a milestone for XRP adoption. So, in other words, they're going to start measuring its performance with others on an index on the Nasdaq Crypto Index. It says it has taken a significant step toward mainstream institutional recognition after its official inclusion in the Nasdaq Crypto US Settlement Price Index. This is a yesterday, June 10th article. It says while the move doesn't yet translate to ETF holdings, it signals growing confidence in Ripple's digital asset and strengthens XRP's position in the evolving crypto market. It's basically getting ready for change, folks. It says Nasdaq's decision to expand its crypto US settlement price index now includes XRP alongside Cardano, Solana, and Stellar Lumens. All sound very familiar, don't they, when it comes to strategic reserve? It says broaden the index beyond its previous focus on only Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm gonna give you my thoughts, folks. This is DK. We'll talk about it. Now, DK will read about it, and I'm gonna tell you, Bitcoin and Ethereum have not been authenticated as U.S. based cryptocurrencies. Now, Ethereum clearly is not. Bitcoin, of course, we believe it is. NSA, Jake Schwartz, and everything. And then they improved upon the Bitcoin and came up with the new coin before it became XRP. So maybe Bitcoin will hang around just for that reason. Like I've said too many times, maybe a store of value, but not a whole lot else until it integrates with other types of technologies where it's almost like wrapping it, but even collateralizing it. It can move faster, like an AMP product can collateralize the move. And then there's also Onyx Coin and ZBEC Network, and all these other things that are happening that if you got to back up a little bit and take a look at it, and you'll see that they're just getting ready to turn this baby on. And so when we think about the chart, I did put in my vertical lines. We can see here that the support that I drew, and this is, I was working quickly off of facts and not as much detailed observation as I was taking when I did it, but these dates aren't exactly what I remember, the 8th until the 13th, but they're close enough. And so from where we are sitting right now, if we come back to support, of course we can move support down a little bit if we want another horizontal line and to see where we can find support. And that's just a visual right here, but I still end up in the same place. I don't see, other than down here, a place to stop. And do I think XRP is going to come down to $1.78 again? No, I don't. Heck no, I don't. Heck no, I don't. Down to, what is this one here? $1.98? No, I don't. I don't. It could be just as a shakeout and a scare. Everything else starts to be above that. So this horizontal line here that's sitting at about what is that? Oh, I didn't mean to put that in there. Let's trash that. Sitting at 205 is probably the back test area, if it back tests at all. But what do I really think? I think next is going to come up. I disregard the red line and just take off. That's what I think is going to happen, folks. I'm not a technical analyzer. I know some of the basics and the details of it, but I also know that when I see things like this occurring, and I also know when I see things like this occurring, and there's more, but I'm gonna have to stop here and do another video, that the XRP is get ready to move, folks. And it's getting ready to move soon. So I'm gonna stick with by the 15th, we're gonna see some changes. Now, let me be clear. The changes could be a shakeout or it could be a blowout. I don't know. But what I do know is something's got to give. I'm DKWILL. This is DKWILL Talk About It. And I have talked about it. Have a wonderful day.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.